name is Lydia. This is Lukey. Today's short class is part of the how-to series. And in the how-to series, I'm looking at very sort of short clips and explanations on how we get into certain complex postures. Today's pose that we're going to be looking at is Galavasana, which is your flying pigeon pose. It's a form of arm balance. It took me a long time to master, but hopefully through these little prep poses that I've put together for you, if you continue practicing them, before you know it, you're going to be flying in your flying pigeon pose. So let's come and meet on the mat, everyone.
In any arm balance, we really need a lot of upper body strength. So one way of strengthening your upper body is to practice your half or full Chaturangas. Place your knees down onto the mat and just bring your chest and your chin to the floor. When you become strong enough, you can come into a full plank pose and then take your Chaturanga, move it into an up dog, and then back to a down dog or a child's pose. So Chaturanga is a great way to strengthen your wrists, the arms, especially the core. And it also prepares your body for these really challenging arm balances here. When you're descending, try and do so as slowly as you can. The next pose is your standard cat-cow. But specifically, we're looking at the cat pose, and that's where you're basically rounding the upper back, so the space between your shoulder blades. When you master this sort of rounded spinal position, like a cat does in its morning stretch, and apply it to your crow pose, it's going to make a massive difference to your balance. This is a wonderful pose and I really highly recommend it, which is your one-legged chair pose. It improves your core strength and asks you to balance at this stage. Also, it's opening up your hip and strengthening your legs. Try and bring your chest down to your calf as much as possible. In this pose, you can also see if you can slowly release your hands down onto the mat and start to straighten your standing leg. So then this almost becomes a standing one-legged forward fold. Again, opening the hamstrings so you get a chance to really lengthen this part of the body. After a few breaths, find your balance and meet back in your one-legged chair pose before standing up tall. In flying pigeon, we need open hips, so Bakasana, the butterfly pose, can be a wonderful way to open your hips, the sides of your glutes. Just allow your knees to come to the sides and bring your head down towards the region of your feet. Stay here for a few breaths and really concentrate on drawing the knees down. For those of you who have a yoga wheel, I'm also going to be putting out a short tutorial on how we can make the most benefit out of the wheel, which I absolutely love, by the way. But you can also go a little bit deeper here by putting the sides of your feet on the top of the wheel and then just pulling your chest and your torso downwards. So it's very similar to Bakasana, except you're just using the wheel to complement you through this practice. The next pose is your pigeon pose. This allows you to really start to open and increase this external rotation of your femur bone in your hip socket. The psoas muscle, which is one of your primary hip flexors here, is really starting to open up. Make sure you sit on a block if there's a gap between your glutes and the mat, because you're not trying to spend your time balancing yourself here, you want to sink. If you wish to go deeper, you can bring the top foot so it's parallel to the mat. This completely depends on your range of motion. Again, make sure your back knee is straight here and not coming out at an angle. The next pose is Bakasana. Check out my other tutorial that looks at how to master the crow pose. I think managing the crow pose will definitely help you in using the muscles as effectively as possible in this flying pigeon pose. In this example, I'm using a block to essentially rest my forehead on, and then I can lift my head when I'm feeling less tired. When we're doing our arm balances, we're taking a lot of pressure into our wrist joint. So it's really important that you stretch the wrist here. One great way is to place the back of your palms down onto the floor, round your chest, tuck the chin towards the chest here, and just hold. Here we go, everyone. Start by placing the right ankle on top of your left thigh. Keep your toes flexed as you sink back down, similar to that half chair squat. Now, slowly release both hands down to the floor. Make sure your right toes are hooked onto your left tricep as you shift the weight forwards. Pick up the back foot and slowly start to extend the leg back. You need to shift your head forwards at this point. To come down, lower the back knee and slowly rise up with control. Just demonstrating on the other side so you can see what's happening from this angle. Bending the right knee this time, sink chest low. Place your hands down very slowly, and then the knee is also resting on your left elbow. Pick up the right foot, balance here, and then when you feel good, just start to extend that leg as you move your chest forwards. To come down, bend the knee, lower through, and rise back up.
Thank you for joining us in today's how-to series. We hope that you found this little tutorial helpful for you. If you're enjoying the little classes, make sure to check out some of my longer flows and practices, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for weekly classes to your inbox. In the meantime, stay safe, keep a happy mind and a happy heart. Namaste!